Are you looking to buy a house here in the state of Arizona, but wondering what the costs are on buying a house? I'm going to go through those buckets with you and break it down on what the cost is purchasing a home here in the state of Arizona. Hi, my name is Nathan Rufty with Mountain West Home Loans here in the greater Phoenix area. I'm going to go through the cost of buying a house, from the down payment, the closing costs, as well as your out-of-pocket upfront costs. So let's dive into the video. Let's address the down payment first. When you open up escrow with your realtor, they're going to ask for an earnest money deposit known as an EMD. That funds that you put down, and you got to speak with your realtor on how much you want to come in to put down to open up escrow. And that money that you put into escrow is going to be utilized for the down payment or closing costs, one of the two. But that money is going to be accounted for. And talk to your realtor on how much to bring in. With a VA and an FHA, a VA and a USDA, there's no money down. It's 100% financing, but you still have to bring in money to open up escrow. When there's a buyer's market and a seller's market, it can determine how much you want to open up escrow with. With a buyer's market, how much you put down, the more you put down, the better. If you come in with $1,000 and the other offer comes in with $3,000, that other offer looks way stronger right now because they're going to put more to open up escrow with. And a seller's market, that's what we're in right now. But when it becomes a buyer's market, you can put as little as down, because it's the buyer, you hold all the cards at that point. But do speak with your real estate agent on how much to open up escrow with. But do know that money is going to be accounted for to go for the down payment or go for the closing costs. So the down payment, recap, VA and USDA, there is no money down. It's 100% finance. FHA, you can put as little as 3.5% down currently right now. Conventionally, right now there's a program if you're a first-time home buyer. And first-time home buyers, if you have not been on title or been on a loan in the last 36 months, you're considered a first-time home buyer. That is a 3% down. Conventionally, if you've been on a title or owned a home in the last 36 months, you're required to bring in 5% down the way it stands right now. But anything, you can put the minimum or you can put more. The less you put down on any of the FHA or the conventional, FHA is going to require mortgage insurance regardless of your down payment. But conventionally, if you put 20% or more, there's no down payment. If you put less than that, you're going to have a mortgage insurance, but we can address ways to buy it out of the mortgage insurance. But that's something we do need to speak with, because that's more money. So the down payment, FHA, 3.5%, conventionally 3%, as little as 3%, but 5% all the way up to you can put 12% down, you can put 15% down. There is no cap on how much you're going to put down. It's just the minimum right now for first-time home buyers is 3%. And also, there's down payment assistance programs. So do click this link right here for down payment link to go there and see if you qualify for a down payment assistance program. So that is your first bucket that you need to be concerned with, is the down payment, how much it's going to cost. So 3.5% of whatever the purchase amount is. So let's say it's a $300,000 purchase amount. That's $10,500 down for the FHA. Conventionally, $300,000 is 3%. So take whatever that 3.5% for FHA and 3%, times it by your purchase amount, and that's your required down payment that you're going to come in with. So that's your first area of concern. And do remember, anything you put into escrow is going to be accounted for the down payment or for the closing costs. So do know that money is not lost. It's going to be credited somewhere within the loan, the down payment or the closing costs. All right, so that's bucket number one. Bucket number two is going to be your closing costs. You may hear a lot of ads out there, no closing costs. Well, as lenders, we build that closing cost into the interest rate. So you can up your interest rate, and that's going to get, we lenders are going to give you money for your closing costs. We can't do that for the down payment. The down payment, if you do not qualify for down payment assistance, the seller cannot give you the down payment. So you got to go out and find that down payment. It can be checking, savings, a gift from a family member, a 401k, you can sell something. There's a lot of avenues that we got to documentate, and we got to paper trail your down payment and closing costs. Closing costs can come from any of those avenues as well. The other kicker is the closing costs can come from the seller. There's a certain percent that the seller can pay up to, and believe you me, it's a lot. So if the seller agrees to pay all your closing costs, they can do that. But remember, It's in a seller's market and a buyer's market. Which market are you going to be in on demanding closing costs? But do speak with your realtor on how to make an offer to the seller when it comes to closing costs. But the seller can pay those for you. But you can come from a checking, savings, retirement, 401k. You can get a gift from a family member. You can sell something with the proper documentation. We can utilize that. We just got to paper trail and documentate all the funds coming into the loan. Unfortunately, cash is not king in our business. If you come in with cash, we can't paper trail that. So do paper trail the closing costs. All right, within that closing cost bucket, there's going to be lender fees, and those are going to range from lender to lender. I'm not going to tell you how much it's going to cost for this or this because I don't know lender fees. Because one thing we can do on the lender side, like I indicated before, is we can increase your interest rate, and we're going to give you money for taking that higher interest rate towards your closing costs. But remember, you're going to finance those closing costs over the next 15, 20, 25, 30 years, whatever term you elect to take. So you got lender fees, you got title fees, and you got escrow fees. Those are all going to be closing costs to the loan. And also you got your prepaid items, which are going to be your, if you want to escrow your account, which means the property taxes and the homeowner's insurance are within your mortgage payment. You got to build that account up front. FHA is going to require you to do that. USDA and VA is going to require you to have it. You can't get out of it. Currently, right now, conventionally, if you put more than 10% down or more on it, you're not required to have an impound account. 10% or less, you're required to have an escrow account. So you got to feed that account. You got to pay your mortgage, your homeowner's insurance up front. So that's an added expense. And there can be some calculations typically on how much it's going to cost to purchase a home, like a $300,000 house. You can times that about 2.5–3%, 3% being on the high side. And remember, this all comes down to how much your property taxes are going to be as well. The higher the property tax percentage, the more we're going to have to escrow. So that's something that I'd like to talk to you about. But remember, the sellers can pay for that, but you do got to speak with your realtor on how to present your offer. I would love for you to have the sellers pay for your closing costs. But when we're in a seller's market, you can't ask for that. It's very few that I'm seeing right now. And currently we're in a seller's market. But when it becomes a buyer's market, you can ask for a lot of stuff, and the sellers are going to obviously probably give it to you if you ask for closing costs. So you got your down payment, your closing costs, and your prepaid upfront out-of-cost fees that we're going to talk about right now is going to be, when you open up escrow, you have contingency periods to get your loan in place, do your home inspection, and do the appraisal. So out-of-pocket upfront costs that you, the buyer, are going to have to come out with is going to be the appraisal cost. So you have to pay for that up front, and it will range probably between right now, 400 to about 500, 550, depending on what program and what type of property you're buying. If you're buying an investment property in their units, the appraisal is going to exceed $600 right now just because there's more work for the appraiser. A home inspection, out of a pocket expense that you're going to have to pay up front. It's not required for you to do it, but it's definitely recommended. A termite inspection, it's not required, but recommended by you. And those will range anywhere between $250 to $400 depending on the size of the property. The bigger the property, obviously, higher inspection it's going to cost for a home inspection. And those are something you, the buyer, are going to have to budget for, is the appraisal out of pocket up front, a credit report, which we're going to do from the very beginning, and that's less than $20 for a credit report. The home inspection, I know this may seem a lot of cost to come out of pocket with. It can be depending on the loan size, but it's also how do we structure the loan. If we can find you money, that's the biggest thing, is we can find you money through a down payment assistance program as long as you qualify for that. The other one is we can raise your interest rate. Depending on what program you go into, it can be very affordable to raise your interest rate to get closing costs from the lender. And also the seller can pay for your closing costs. So there's a lot of ways to find closing costs. It's the down payment that we got to address as well. As you can see, it can cost very little for the down payment and very little to purchase a home. A perfect scenario would purchase a home utilizing the USDA no money down home program, or the VA no money down home program. Seller pays for all your closing costs, or we look at a down payment assistance programs that can cover the closing costs with those 100% financing, or the down payment assistance programs that can cover the down payment as well as some of the closing costs as well. So different avenues on finding monies to purchase a home. You got to meet all the other criteria, of course, with the debt to income ratio, the income, as well as the credit criteria. But for the down payment, if you qualify, we can look at down payment assistance programs. Seller can pay for it, as well as lender can pay for it through increase on the interest rate. So different avenues on getting money to purchase a home. Don't discount yourself. Don't underwrite yourself. Don't say, oh, I got to come up with 20% down. You don't. There are many, many different programs that we can explore for you. I would love to do that. Call me, Nathan Rufty, Mountain West Financial Home Loans here in the state of Arizona. I'm a licensed mortgage professional that's full-time, that stays on top of the ever-changing industry that we're in, and I want to connect with you and present you all your financial options on buying a house here in the state of Arizona. It doesn't hurt to explore your option. It truly doesn't. And if you don't know what your options are, at least we will give you your options and put you on that path towards home ownership. If you can't buy now, at least you'll have a blueprint on when you can buy a house here in Arizona with the down payment, with some closing costs, with the credit, with the income. So I would love to connect with you, present you your options on buying a house here in the state of Arizona. Nathan Rufty, Mountain West Financial Home Loans at 623-850-1210. And also check out the link above and see what kind of a program that you qualify for on a down payment that can help with the down payment, as well as some closing costs. I look forward to hearing from you.